Good evening. Welcome to the Buck Stops Here weekend edition. I'm Ankita Mukherjee. With 80 seats in the Lok Sabha, Uttar Pradesh has always been the decisive pit stop on the road to Delhi. Well, today, Narendra Modi, Mulayam Singh Yadav and Arvind Kejriwal were all in election overdrive in the state. And Lucknowi Tehzeeb took a bit of a backseat as the attacks and counter-attacks flew.
High-voltage rallies across Uttar Pradesh as parties rev up the battle for this battleground state and its 80 crucial seats. Modi chose the massive Ramabai Ambedkar ground, considered by some to be Mayawati's political challenge. Only she could fill it, so no other party ever used it. Narendra Modi took the dare and came close to prove a point. Not to be outdone, the Samajwadi Party responded with their own rally to counter Narendra Modi's in Allahabad, attacking him head-on, ridiculing the BJP for its attempts to woo the Muslim vote.
आपने इतना मुसलमानों का कत्लेआम किया था और मुसलमानों का कत्लेआम करके माफी मांगते हैं के नेता। क्या यहाँ के हमारे मुसलमान भाइयों को नासमझ समझते हो?
But Mulayam Singh's attempt to rake up 2002 got an immediate counter from Narendra Modi, who contrasted Uttar Pradesh's recent track record to Gujarat's.
आपको तुलना करनी है। एक साल में आपने उत्तर प्रदेश में 150 दंगे करवाए हैं। गुजरात में 10 साल में एक दंगा नहीं हुआ है, कहीं कर्फ्यू नहीं लगा है। एक साल में अकेले उत्तर प्रदेश में 20,000 से ज्यादा महिला उत्पीड़न की घटनाएं घटी है।
Narendra Modi in turn launched a scathing attack against the SP, BSP and Congress, accusing them of using secularism for vote bank politics, calling the BJP the real secular party.
भाइयों बहनों, अपनी नाकामियां छुपाने के लिए, अपनी विफलताएं छुपाने के लिए ये सेकुलरिज्म का नकाब पहन करके, सेकुलरिज्म के नाम के बातें करके हमें गुमराह करने की कोशिश करते हैं।
Over the last few months of his campaigning in Uttar Pradesh, Narendra Modi has talked development, the Gujarat success story. He has attacked his rivals Mulayam Singh Yadav, Mayawati, Rahul Gandhi, challenged their brand of secular politics. Still, there has been no Mandir, no Hindutva. So has Narendra Modi changed, or is the BJP changing? That is why perhaps the take from Narendra Modi's Phase 1 campaign in UP could be that the party is realizing that there is something happening among the voters and it is not doing what it used to.
Talking about the crowd at Narendra Modi's rally, Arvind Kejriwal dismissed Narendra Modi's popularity as merely a media projection.
जो ये कह रहे हैं मोदी वेव, कोई मोदी वेव नहीं है दोस्तों, चारों तरफ कोई मोदी वेव नहीं है। ये टीवी चैनल वालों की बदमाशी है, केवल गुस्से की वेव चारों तरफ चल रही है।
The Aam Aadmi Party went a step further, strategically hinting that Arvind Kejriwal could contest against the BJP's prime ministerial candidate.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, मैं आपसे निवेदन करना चाहता हूं कि नरेंद्र मोदी अगर बनारस में चुनाव लड़ने आता है तो उसके खिलाफ आप चुनाव लड़िए, उसको यहां से हम हरा के भेजेंगे।
For now, Arvind Kejriwal will take the battle from Uttar Pradesh to Gujarat.
4 दिन 5 मार्च से 8 मार्च तक मैं गुजरात जा रहा हूं वहां का विकास देखने के लिए।
NDTV Bureau Report.
Well, Super Sunday in Uttar Pradesh, and clearly the rhetoric has been taken up several notches. Joining us on this program tonight, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, spokesperson of the Congress, Pinky Anand, spokesperson for the BJP, Abdul Qadir Chaudhary, member of the Samajwadi Party, Sharad Pradhan, a senior journalist who's in fact been following polls in Uttar Pradesh for a very, very long time indeed. We'll also have a member of the Aam Aadmi Party join us in a bit. But Sharad Pradhan, as someone who's been seeing UP elections for a very long time, let me begin with you tonight. Narendra Modi made hardly any mention of either the Congress or Mayawati's BSP in that 40-minute long rally speech that he made. Yet every sentence that he uttered began with Netaji and went on to target the Samajwadi Party on governance issues. Is he now seeing this as really a straight fight between the BJP and the SP, perhaps the BSP to some extent, but nobody else?
Well, I think it was partly on account of the provocation caused by Mulayam's scathing attack against him at the Allahabad rally. of which he mentioned also. He said, I have just been told that Mulayam Singh Yadav has been talking against me and my style, my type of governance, and how Mulayam had attacked his the riots, and also blamed the BJP for going back to Ayodhya, the Babri Masjid and all. Partly on that account, and partly because I think Modi, as I've been following each of his rallies in UP. This was the 8th one, and he does make it a point to touch upon the local issues, to focus on the local issues. And here again, because he feels that the common sentiment is going against the Samajwadi Party government, its failures, because people had a lot of expectations from Akhilesh, and since he has belied their hopes, he thought it best to focus on them. That's how I look at it. And that's why he was, and partly because of the provocation,
right.
I said that's the reason he was every time repeatedly addressing Netaji, and being making it very melodramatic at times.
Let's bring
And
the
how he was
Samajwadi
trying
Party
to,
in on this. Abdul Qadir
question
Chaudhary,
Netaji.
was Mulayam Singh Yadav's decision then to hold a rally on the same day as Modi's long declared rally in Lucknow? In fact, did it go on to backfire, and did anti-incumbency become the big message then from Modi's rally, and how is the Samajwadi Party going to counter that now?
Mr. Narendra Modi's time and again, and repeated mention of Netaji Mulayam Singh Yadav's name as Netaji only, not even his name, that itself speaks. I do not think that he is criticizing or making a mockery of that. He has accepted that he is the leader of the people. He is the leader of the people, of the farmers, of the poor, of the Muslims, of the Hindus, of the Sikhs, Christians and Jains who have brought him to power.
Well, that was
in UP.
certainly not the
With
tone and
224
tenor of
seats.
Narendra
And as you
Modi's
rightly
comments
said,
at least.
as you
Mr. Chaudhary, in fact, he went on to compare Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh very directly, saying there have been 150 riots in the last 1 year and none in Gujarat in the last 10.
Yes. See, well, ma'am, I mean, what can there be a bigger lie than 150 riots? I am hearing this figure for the very, very first time. 7, 8, 9 riots of different small this thing. Muzaffarnagar, okay, I'll come to that later on, and he's making it now. They were calling 100. Now today Mr. Modi makes it 150 riots. What a bigger lie can there be? And now comparing, and when he talks of no riots in the last 10 years, ma'am, that one riot of 2002 killing humanity is bigger than, I think, about more than 1,000 riots. That one riot itself, what is he talking about? I mean, it is really sad. It is really sad. What he said, that he's talking of progress and development and all that today. Give me one reason. Can Mr. Modi or his party, his people can give one reason why Mr. Amit Shah was brought in UP for campaigning? Does he know UP? How many times he's told UP before that? For the one reason that he's the champion of distributing hatred in the hearts of people, in the minds of people, and to make the communal riots happen. That is what he did. In fact,
let the BJP respond to that. Pinky Anand, the point that's being made is that the politics of Uttar Pradesh are already being polarized on the ground. Narendra Modi can come and talk about development as much as he wishes. How do you respond to that kind of attack? Also, is this now really becoming about competitive secularism, my secularism versus yours? That's something we heard Mr. Modi talk about at great length today.
No, the point, Ankita, really here is that UP and Bihar definitely form some of the very mainstays of the politics in the country. I mean, today, whatever happens in UP and Bihar is obviously going to be a major factor in deciding which party will be leading the entire governance in the country. And if you've noticed the recent figures, Ankita, I might just quote the ABP Nielsen survey, which came just a few days back, has predicted that BJP is slated to win 41 out of 80 seats in UP. I mean, that is a figure given by the survey itself regarding UP, and similar figures are given for Bihar also, as well as, in fact, mention was made of Maharashtra. Having said that, the question of the fact of how these rallies are organized, the address of these rallies, and Modi ji's mentioning or development as a total agenda as far as Gujarat is concerned and UP is concerned, following the Gujarat model, I think the issues are very clear. Today, the country, particularly with the youth forming a major faction in the country, the whole target is one of development, and that is what Modi ji is outlining for UP as much as the fact that he has performed the same as far as Gujarat is concerned, and the same model requires to be replicated across. And I think, in fact, I was in Ahmedabad yesterday also, and I noticed the people's total follow of Modi ji's actions and his performance in the state, and how they are hoping to see the entire country being transformed into one of development, considering we have about 5% as the GDP growth in India. I mean, that is pathetic considering the double-digit performances, whether not only in Gujarat, but in Chhattisgarh, in Madhya Pradesh, in, of course, we hope the same will happen in Rajasthan very shortly. So that is the real questions, Ankita, today.
The real questions about governance, and we certainly heard
for anything else.
Okay, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, did we really hear a new pitch in that sense from the BJP? They've been focusing on governance all along, but does it worry you at all that it seems to the BJP that the Congress is not part of the Uttar Pradesh fight at all? Whether it was Mr. Modi in the election rally, whether it's Arun Jaitley now speaking about how this is a three-cornered fight between the Samajwadi Party and the BSP and the BJP, the Congress just doesn't seem to figure in any of their equations.
Well, I suppose wherever he's gone, he's talked only about Congress, about Rahul ji, about Sonia ji. He's been very direct in personal attacks as well. That's not, we are not unhappy or happy that he's not taking our name. But the question here is that the development model of Gujarat will be busted, and it's being busted. Because you see, when he came to UP, there were only two highlights of his speech today. One was talking about development vis-a-vis Gujarat and UP. But I thought that the kind of examples that he forwarded were very insulting for UP. Now he said that we have the best per capita income, but why did he not say that Gujarat has the highest per capita debt also? When he said we brought Amul into UP, who is Amul? Amul is not his contribution. Amul has been there for 40-45 years. The White Revolution was brought in during the Congress regime, and if Amul is coming here, it's not because of his courtesy. It's because Amul wanted to set up business here. Now, when he talks about communalism, and when he talks about how he has contained communalism, whatever happened in Gujarat in 2002 is one of the blackest events in the history of this country for centuries to come. And he's from the Sangh Parivar. When he talks about only Gujarat, do they not have a hand in the Muzaffarnagar riots? Do we not know that all the riots in this country and what majority of and some of those terrorist acts that have taken place in the past,
I find this amazing that the Congress can even talk about
involvement of the
riots.
Sangh Parivar. So the Sangh Parivar has been involved in rioting and in creating communal tensions all over the country, and he's a part of the Sangh Parivar. How can he talk about Gujarat alone? And let me tell you, there's a falsehood. I've googled around and I've found that there have been hundreds of incidents of communal tensions in Gujarat. Now, riot and communal tension cannot be kept away from each other.
All right. So, are you countering that statement then about 150 riots in Uttar Pradesh and none at all in Gujarat for the last 10 years?
No, I have to say that the Samajwadi Party
That's
has
a wrong figure, please.
in governance.
That figure, that is
they
wrong.
They have not been able, whatever communal tensions have taken place in UP, they certainly put a huge question mark on the governance of the Samajwadi Party, and we have said openly that Muzaffarnagar was a joint, was an incident between both the Samajwadi and the BJP.
Please, Rita ji, I think this whole question of Muzaffarnagar and trying to say anything regarding BJP on that level, considering what the conduct of Azam Khan and everybody else has been in this, I think this is a question of involvement only where you don't seem to have any other issue but to try and put this albatross around anybody's neck.
Communal tensions.
I think
you allow me to come in, please.
Rita.
Abdul Qadir Chaudhary, do you believe that the Samajwadi government in Uttar Pradesh now is facing a big anti-incumbency wave when it comes to their governance record? That's something we saw being attacked repeatedly today by both Narendra Modi and Arvind Kejriwal in his rallies. Do you believe that this is going to be a problem going ahead for you?
That's what all the political parties, especially I would say BJP is trying to project, which is very incorrect. There is not much time. I know you will not give me time to explain about Muzaffarnagar riots, the conspiracy to malign the Samajwadi Party. There is not much time, but I will tell you, people are understanding it. People would know as elections come close, the people of Uttar Pradesh.
I think the role of the Samajwadi politicians and the role of the Samajwadi administration
be benefited by polarization of the. Now, please let me finish. Do not interfere. Please let me finish. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Please let Abdul Qadir Chaudhary finish. Pinky Anand, I will come to you.
Was the government.
That's not fair. That is not fair, please. You do not have the guts to listen to my arguments, because you are all lies, Listen to my, I've been given the time, listen to my arguments,
I think you should watch in what you say.
Very quickly, sir, make your argument and then I must go across to them for counters.
Instead of talking about developments, about progress.
Mr. Chaudhary, make your argument quickly.
And yes, please. What is Congress talking about governance? The governance of scams, the governance of corruption, and BJP, the governance of championing the cause of massacre and all that. What governance is talking about? And what has Samajwadi failed where? I mean, the propaganda against the party for these riots, this is a totally false propaganda. Let me tell you, right from the time when that Durga Shakti Nagpal IS officer was suspended, when the incident of the policeman getting killed, Mr. Ziaul Haq, and then Chaurasi Kosi Parikrama getting banned and coming to Muzaffarnagar riots, it was all a conspiracy, and I cannot understand how Congress and BJP and other parties say that it's a 50-50 match. It's a friendly match.
Okay, I want to open this up now.
How would we benefit? Okay. Now you see, because of these bloody, give me a minute, please. Because of these riots only, they are speaking against my party.
Let's take this beyond Muzaffarnagar and indeed to the rallies today. And Professor Anand Kumar of the Aam Aadmi Party also joining us at this point. And Arvind Kejriwal today was also an active contender in all these in the electoral rallies that we saw. Anand Kumar. We've seen this roadshow now for the last 3 days. Is Arvind Kejriwal at the moment just an object of curiosity in Uttar Pradesh? Do you believe he actually and your party has a role to play? He today called the Narendra Modi wave just a media-created phenomenon. But the Aam Aadmi Party seemed to go a step further when they hinted at a possible Modi versus Kejriwal direct face-off. Is that something that you are now going to project?
So far as Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, it is a consequence of mobilization against corruption and need of going for good governance and for Swaraj. So Uttar Pradesh is a bad case of governance and a horrible case of corruption. Therefore, Aam Aadmi Party is out there as a consequence of the mobilization of last 2 years. You will see a few surprises for all the parties which are discounting our presence there. And in case of Shri Narendra Modi, not only Shri Arvind Kejriwal, the whole country thinks that there are 4 problems in the so-called Gujarat model: crony capitalism, corruption at high places, communal atmosphere, and centralization of authorities.
But are you now projecting a direct contest between Narendra Modi and Arvind Kejriwal from Varanasi, perhaps, if Mr. Modi does indeed contest from there? Is that what the Aam Aadmi Party is saying?
No, it is not the Aam Aadmi Party, it is the Aam Aadmi which is thinking of a challenge needed to check this phenomenal and monstrous growth of phenomena called Narendra Modi or Moditwa. It is creating fear in the minds of democratic people, ordinary people, and of course minorities. So they are looking for a change and they are looking for a challenge, both changing the Congress and challenging the NDA. And here, of course, Aam Aadmi Party looks like a rising phenomenon.
I'm going to ask this question to you once more. Is this change, is this challenge going to take the form of a direct Lok Sabha contest for a specific seat between Narendra Modi and Arvind Kejriwal? Because speaking, when asked repeatedly this precise question on this channel, Arvind Kejriwal had said, "Mujhe hero nahi banna." Has anything changed since then?
What has changed is that there are now 2 rival slogans before the electorate. One coming from BJP and Shri Narendra Modi again and again, Congress Mukt Bharat. And the other which is coming from Shri Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party with lot of resonance effect, and that is Bhrashtachar Mukt Bharat. They want Congress Mukt Bharat, we want Bhrashtachar Mukt Bharat. Let us choose which one is a better deal.
All right, I'm going to get quick responses in from all our panelists at this point. Rita Bahuguna Joshi, the Aam Aadmi Party clearly believes they are contenders in Uttar Pradesh, going so far as to suggest this kind of direct contest. Your response?
Well, they're talking about governance all along, but they have failed governance in Delhi. They've run away from government, and the people have lost a lot of trust in them. UP is not the ground where they can, rhetorics like this can make an impact, not as the rhetoric of Bharatiya Janata Party going to make any impact. And it will be very interesting to watch the election, but I could clearly tell you that UP is a very secular state, and it will go for people who have secular credentials and for good candidates, and the Congress has a very fair chance of increasing its tally from 22 onwards.
Don't write us off just yet, says the Congress. Pinky Anand?
I like the way that Professor Anand Kumar very rightly at least acknowledged the fact that Mr. Modi is a phenomenon. So once he acknowledges that Mr. Modi is a phenomenon, I don't think we need to get into any other discussion on the presence of Mr. Modi and his visibility in UP and the fact that he's leading the BJP on to a major victory here in the next forthcoming elections. Having said that, the whole question of the rhetorics, I think in UP, talking about the Aam Aadmi Party, I think Aam Aadmi Party has exposed itself. I think any semblance of question of their credibility which was or could have been there with the Delhi elections the way it was at that point of time, the people have realized exactly what Mr. Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party is about. Promises made, all promises broken. Promises made, Mr. Kejriwal running away from any kind of issue just so that he could try to make an entry into Lok Sabha. As far as the question of contesting directly with Mr. Modi, I mean, Aam Aadmi Party is welcome to put whoever they want to contest against Mr. Modi. We have no fears whatsoever.
Okay, very quick response, Professor Anand Kumar, and then I'll have to wrap this up.
Well, I see harmony of thoughts and ideas and analysis between Congress and BJP. Both of them look at us as the real evil force, but the people are looking at them as most dangerous choices, and they need a third alternative. I am very happy that your program was so successful in demonstrating the reason behind the so-called failure of Kejriwal government in Delhi. It was the joining of hands of Congress and BJP for a very good reason, that we attacked Shri Mukesh Ambani on the one hand and we asked for SIT about Sikh killings on the other hand. And they are both together in
You join Congress and you say Congress and BJP join hands. Congress supports you, you form the government based upon Congress and you say...
Sharad Pradhan, very quick last comments. Please. Where was the BSP in all this? Why were they missing in action?
I certainly see Aam Aadmi Party as a growing factor. It is not going to die, which of course is the wishful thinking of all conventional traditional parties, because they could not tolerate it, and it was very evident that the Congress and BJP at that point of time did join hands to crush and sabotage the Aam Aadmi Party, and unfortunately Kejriwal fell into their trap, being an innocent man. But yes, I would still say that they will continue to play spoiler even if they don't get too many seats.
No, he violated the Constitution.
That is a matter of concern both for Congress and BJP and Samajwadi Party.
Are you saying that the anarchism of Mr. Kejriwal is a sign of innocence? I'm surprised to even hear such a statement.
Well, all right.
Calculated games played, calculated walkouts, calculated dharnas, calculated...
I think this debate has just demonstrated how the fight for Uttar Pradesh is clearly not just a fight for a state, even a critical battleground state, but representative in a sense of all the issues that the Lok Sabha 2014 is going to be about. I'm afraid that's all we have time for tonight, but thanks for joining us on the Buck Stops Here Weekend Edition. I'm sorry, Mr. Chaudhary, we couldn't come back to you for a very last comment, but thanks for joining us at this point. Thank you. Good night. Keep watching NDTV 24/7. There's a lot more coming up.